Hello, hello, my darlings. Hello and welcome. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me and just say hi. If you can find the chat. Yay. Hi, friends. Hi, everyone. Oh, so nice to see all of the familiar names. Just big virtual hug as promised. Just know that wherever you are in the world, my heart is hugging yours right now. Just really, welcome to our space. We see some Canadians. If you want to drop in the chat where you're dialing in from, that would be wonderful. India, Connecticut, UK, Italy, New Zealand, Sweden, Austria. I love it with the global crew, honestly. Estonia, Poland, Serbia, hi, the Philippines. I could reading this. You guys don't understand. This gives me so much joy. Oh, my heart is connecting to yours. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. This is my first community Q&A. Definitely not my last, because I have another one of these planned in December. When we share a sacred space together, we connect on so many levels. Every time there is a group that gathers in a sacred space like that, we are all connected in more ways than we can imagine, not just through our energies, but very often what brings us into the same space is a similarity of vibration and is a similarity of our heart's request or our soul's request. So wherever you're dialing in from, know that all of the people on the call today are an exact vibrational resonance to you in some shape or form. And so despite the fact that not every single one of you is going to get to ask me a question today, know that everything that you're seeing, everything that you're witnessing is here for you and somehow relates to you, even though at first glance, it may not seem like that is the case. You would not have been able to be in this room if whatever was transpiring here did not relate to you in some shape or form. I love to open spaces like this one, just like with a little, call it meditation. I don't even want to call it a meditation because it's more of an alignment. So wherever you are in the world, I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes really quickly and place your hands on your heart or higher heart, whichever one resonates with you the most. Just close your eyes and allow yourself to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. For a moment, letting go of your worries, of the things that your mind wants you to remember, the busy mind. Let's let that go. To give more room, more space for our hearts to speak today, for us to connect to our own inner guidance, to our own higher selves, to spirit. I find that part of the reason why spirit cannot come through into our consciousness is because of all of the busy mental waves. And so for today, I invite you to set aside your busy mental waves. Literally right now, you may be picturing or imagining them in your head as a busy highway somewhere around your head. And I invite you to just almost like brush that aside for a quick moment. Your busy mind is going to be here after this activation. It's going to be here for the rest of your life. So don't worry, you're not going to miss out on anything. And so just let that busy mind go and allow yourself to drop into your heart space. Like literally imagine that you're falling down into this beautiful emerald water that is your heart space. And as you're in this water, you actually would imagine or notice that this water is holding you up. It is holding you up so well. The universe always has the capacity to hold you up, no matter what's going on in your life. Just feel in this moment how the universe, like a loving mother, is enveloping you with her blanket of love and comfort. And just let that feeling sink into your skin and sink into your body. And I want you to get present that in this beautiful emerald ocean, you're not the only one floating. There are so many people around you in our beautiful space, in our community. So many people around you floating in the same water. All of the people who are on this call today. And imagine sending those people love. Love from the very center of your hearts, from the very center of your beings. Just because, for no reason other than you can. And as you're sending love, notice how from all of those people, love is coming back to you. 5-fold, 10-fold, 100-fold. There's so much love. And remember, you are the container for all of that love. There is nothing and no one in the universe that can prevent you from receiving it. And so allow yourself to receive that love from all the people and the universe. You may even imagine, picture how your body is an empty vessel and now it is starting to fill up this beautiful emerald energy of love, of having enough, of having plenty that is available to you. And if you want to create, and that this part is optional, but if you feel called to create a bubble of white light around your body that is going to help focus your energy and protect you from anything else that you may envision or imagine you may be needing protection from. Imagine creating this bubble of white light and know that the only thing that can penetrate that bubble is the light, are the loving frequencies, are the frequencies that are in your highest good. And so allow your body to relax and allow yourself to release the tension from your lower abdominal area that's holding so much tension. Allow yourself to release all the tension there because it's the bubble's job now to protect you. You no longer have to worry about that. And just keep releasing and letting go of the tension in your lower abdomen. And know that you are safe, sound, protected, and loved in this space. Well, we are mere fractals of one another. Well, we are a part of the same ocean. Well, we can remember that we came of the same source, and therefore we share a mother and a father. And whenever you're ready, in this receptive state of being taken care of from the universe, I invite you to open your eyes and come back for our Q&A. Yeah, and if you feel called to drop either your requests in the chat, because that what feels aligned, or just how you're feeling if you just want to share. Somebody says tears of happiness. Thank you, Beth. I receive. It's just the beginning. I'm glad you already think it's beautiful. Very emotional. Yes, moving. Yes, you feel supported. Yes, there's an entire community out there of people just like us with the same flavor of peculiarities as us. And that is beautiful. And that is very connecting. Somebody says chills down my spine. Somebody's questions already disappeared and have been answered. Look at that, you guys. Magic in the making. That is exponential healing, not linear healing. Yes, togetherness. That's beautiful. Cannot stop crying. Yes. Allow yourself to let that emotion out. We're actually, as human beings, we're so not used to safety around one another. There's been so much conditioning, there's been so much pain, shared pain. Then just 5 minutes, 10 minutes of this trust and like the ability to let go can be deeply healing to your entire nervous system. Yes. And somebody says, allowing the universe to take care of me. And that's another thing that's present for me. Very often, we're not in a place where we can receive the care. And it's almost like the care is coming through and the love is coming through and the gratitude is coming through. All the beautiful energies are coming through. But we're in a place where maybe we're punishing ourselves for something. Maybe we don't think we're worthy. Or for any other reason, maybe we think that if we take, somebody else is not going to be able to take. And so we put ourselves last. And so very often we are the barrier to our own happiness, if that makes sense. Because in order for you to feel fully happy, an energy exchange must happen, right? Like you have to receive and you have to give. And if you're just give, or just receive, something breaks down. And so catch yourself in the moment if you're one of those people that tends to put themselves last, and just allow yourself to receive and know that you are worthy to receive from the universe, just on the premise of this is your birthright. This is your birthright. You don't have to earn it. You can just receive. And it's as simple as allowing from this heart space, instead of depriving yourself and punishing yourself and believing that one day, maybe when you're enough, you'll start taking. That one day may never arrive. Let's see what wants to come through the chat. And maybe like, let me kind of like set the stage here. I'm definitely going to be tuning into the energies of this group. I'm going to be tuning into the things that you are conscious of and the things that you are not conscious of. I'm going to be tuning into your subconscious requests as well. So you may think that, you come here with a particular objective, but then your greater being may have another agenda or another plan. And I'm here to receive all of you from any level, whichever part requires healing, I'm here to receive that. Somebody is asking, why would a soul choose to incarnate into a family that suffers from an extreme poverty mindset? How do you transmute that energy when it seems to be all around you, both inside the family and the society? I'm going to take this because it caught my attention, and I was actually thinking about this earlier. But in general, to finish my thought that I got distracted from this beautiful question. So I'm going to essentially do a collective reading here, and then we're going to call out some people who want to ask the questions to participate, depending on what wants to come through. And then towards the end of it, probably like the last 30 minutes or so of our time together, we're going to do an activation or a meditation. It's like a journey, essentially. And in this journey, I'm going to be tapping into all of the things that are bubbling up for the collective that you guys are ready to release and hold and to release and give away, and then or integrate. And then I'm essentially just going to channel based on those requests coming through. So just so you understand the logistics of this. Cool. Let me maybe answer what Drew is bringing up about, let me just remind you what the question was. Why would a soul choose to incarnate into a family that suffers from an extreme poverty mindset? I was looking up earlier today before this call, how many people in the world don't struggle with money. And like, I was looking at all of the lineages, and about slightly over 90% of all the lineages in the world struggle with money one way or another. And if you think that you're alone in that, I want to kind of like start dissipating the myth. So about 90% of the lineages, 91% of the lineages in the world have a suboptimal relationship with abundance and money. About 8% have what I would refer to as a neutral, like not too bad, not too good, and maybe like a mix of everything. And it feels like whatever is left, which is like under 2%, it feels like, has a decent relationship with money. So Drew, 9 out of 10 times as a soul incarnating into planet Earth, you would already come into a suboptimal relationship with money. It's just how this particular planet is stacked. There's another thing that, I wanted to share. So there, we talk about lineages, right? We talk about families, but how deeply that wounding goes, and I think remains like a mystery for a lot of people, not just wounding, but how deep that connection goes. So as I was observing today, and today I was in my observer, I was observing how many lineages before you become an accumulation of. And for the longest time, I saw that 7 lineages, like meaning the previous generations of your parents, grandparents, etc. 7 generations are like physically so much in your body, you couldn't bypass it if you tried. But if I look broader, it's actually 36 lineages, 36 generations is what I mean, not lineages. 36 generations of people. All of the generations that came before you are in your aura and in your energy field. So essentially, if we do like the quick math, right? 36 lineages, about 20 years each. So that's 720 years worth of stuff. A lot has happened since the 1300s, right? I would be, the first one to assume that starting from, going back to the 1300s, probably every single lineage has had an issue with money, abundance, or wealth, or all of the above in some way, shape, or form. And because you are literally an amalgamation of all of those people that came before, it's probably living in your body and in your aura. And to bring this back home, why would a soul choose to incarnate into a family that suffers from extreme poverty mindset? The answer is always to graduate from that poverty mindset, as simple or as mundane as that might sound. And very often, and I call these people activators, you may be an activator for your lineage. If you are called to break a particular pattern in a very massive, meaningful way, sometimes activators don't feel like they fully belong in their lineage. I'm not saying 100% of you who are on this call today are activators, but enough of you are, because you're taking the patterns that you came with and the patterns that your families have experienced for centuries, and you may be called to graduate from them. So consider yourself an activator. Activators always come with a very deep well of energy. So if you're an activator for your lineage, it's almost like you have a lot more fuel. Because if you think about like a rocket ship needs a lot more fuel than a car, it's because a rocket ship is going farther than the car. So for your lineage, if you're just the car, kind of, I hope my analogies make sense here. And you can just, as a car, you can just drive the same, from point A to point B that your lineage has been driving for centuries. You don't really need all that much fuel. But if you're an activator, it's like you're a rocket ship, you're a spacecraft in your own lineage, because you're supposed to go to stratosphere. You're supposed to go to the lands that your family doesn't travel to if you feel called to release something. So inadvertently, you may already be carrying a lot of that energy in your body. So maybe you are active, or maybe, by the way, not everybody who's an activator feels active. Sometimes you feel stuck in your life or stuck in your energies until you start addressing the issues that you're meant to be the activator for. And then all of a sudden, you're going to notice that, ooh, all of this energy is starting to get going and starting to really flourish and blossom. And your entire life may change. I don't want to go in tangents because I feel like I can go forever about every single thing. You know what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do, because I want to start seeing your faces. And I think that's going to be the most aligned version. Sergey, why don't we do what you suggested earlier? Sergey, by the way, sorry, for those of you that don't know, Sergey is my husband, the person who is behind the camera, who's helping me with everything in life. He is going to help set up everything from the technical perspective. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do, and Sergey is going to help me. Raise your hand. There's a feature at the bottom of your screen that says raise your hand. If you want to ask a question, like go on camera and ask a question, then raise your hand right now. And, if that question is around abundance, around money, around manifestation, that's amazing. If not, I'll still take it. If the universe decides that you need to speak and you need to ask me something that has nothing to do with these topics, I'm, in full-on receptivity. So thank you for raising the hands. So, Sergey, I wonder, do you want to explain what's going to happen now?
Yeah, so also try to make sure that your camera is on. It's going to be just easier to connect. And yeah, so basically, if you raise your hand, I will add you to panelists and you'll be able to. So basically, we start with the microphones muted, mute yourself, and then we will pick a person who will ask a question. Then Mariya will answer the question. Try, I guess, to be as short as possible because also we have a lot of people here, almost 400. So let's start, and I'm gonna start promoting people. It's gonna take some time, but this is the first time we're doing it.
It only gets
Let
better
me
from here, you
see.
guys, we promise.
Yes,
While Sergey's
I'm
doing
trying
it,
to
maybe
see.
I'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we basically have some people joining now.
Somebody's really quickly asking, you mentioned spirit. Can you explain the difference between spirit and higher self? When I say spirit, I mean, generally speaking, anybody from the spiritual realm. So your higher self, technically from this definition, is going to be spirit. Source consciousness is going to be spirit. All of your other, I don't know, like all of your spirit guides are going to be spirit. So that's what I mean by spirit. Your higher self is just a higher aspect of you, kind of like your oversoul. And that is more of like your own personal fractal, just in higher realms, if that makes sense.
Okay, so we're adding people. Also, don't get upset if you're not picked today, because again, all questions are collective questions. And let's start with Jana. So I'm asking Jana to unmute.
Hello. Um,
Hello.
so here's my thing. I have been pierced by the Divine Mother in 2024. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I've been asked to move to Maui, Hawaii, which I feel like is aligned for me and my soul path. This was something that was never my idea. It was definitely came from my guides. I'm having a hard time like releasing like my home and like I don't know if it's like accepting the money that comes with my home or like I'm just having a hard time getting from like here to here. And I'm not sure, like, I personally feel like I'm on my path. I'm nervous about it. I feel like I might have a money block that's like holding me back somehow. It kind of makes me feel anxious and racy when I talk about money. So I don't know, like, if you have any guidance for that.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to Maui, Jen?
Yeah, like just this year is my first time.
Got it. Oh, how did you feel with the land?
I loved it there. I felt like I've definitely lived there like multiple lifetimes, and I feel like I might be like picking up aspects of my soul or something.
Yeah. How does it feel for your body in Colorado?
I hate it here.
Yeah. Yeah. Colorado brings up your masculine.
Yeah.
It really brings up your go-getter. It really brings out your workaholic. It really brings out the overthinker, the overanalyzer, crazy mental activity.
Yeah.
Maui is the polar opposite for you.
Yeah.
So it starts opening up your femininity. So it's not a surprise for me that the Divine Mother called you there. What does
Yeah.
it mean when it starts to open your femininity? Your faculties that you didn't know you had are going to start coming online. Your abilities that you didn't know you had are going to start coming online. A lot of them are in the intuitive realm. So that's really the
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah.
That's really the calling. Another thing that's going to open up for you in Maui is a lot of healing,
Yeah.
because it's a very heart-centered space. But I'm sensing a lot of anxiety in your heart center specifically, which is
Yeah.
very interesting because you think your problem is safety. So essentially you're coming on and you're like, Mariya, I have a problem with my safety center, which is my root.
Yeah.
But I'm not sensing that at all. Meaning
Yeah.
your soul knows that you're safe no matter where you go.
Yeah.
And your soul already knows that money is not going to be an issue in Maui.
Yeah.
So what is creating all of this anxiety is not in your heart. And you know what that is?
What?
That's a fear of stepping on your path. So once all of the, that's all of these, and the reason it's in the heart is because when you stepped on your path in past lifetimes, which is a path of a healer, is the one that you're on, the path of a healer, potentially an herbalist. When you do that, it triggers your persecution wound, but not a persecution wound in the sense of I'm going to lose my life or my sustenance or the bread from my table, because that type of persecution wound would live in your root center. What this triggers is a heartache for you.
Yeah.
And the heartache that is coming up really, really strong is betrayal from women.
Yeah.
That's why, that's
struggle with that.
That's why it lives in your heart. Otherwise, you'd be feeling it elsewhere. And but the thing is, ironically, you're meant to work with women in this lifetime. Isn't that a wonderful?
So we got a predicament, huh?
Isn't that a wonderful challenge? Because you're meant to work with women, but a part of you wants to run away from women and protect yourself and build all of these borders and walls and everything because they hurt you in past lifetimes. And specifically, who hurt you were sisters, like the sisters, like your witches, so to say, like the people who were with you in it. And when they hurt you pretty bad. And they outed you and like all the things happened. And a part of you really wants to run away from sisterhood, but you're not going to be able to do it on Maui. Because it's like an all in, like dive in, invite the sisterhood in.
And so I'm really afraid.
Yeah. You're really afraid. Here's the thing, and this is going to be relevant for a lot of you guys. There are lifetimes where we come to accumulate karma. Meaning, and by the way, there are more lifetimes that are, I would consider karma accumulating lifetimes. Essentially, you come to Earth to be wounded. Sounds silly or funny, but it is like, it is a thing. Like when your soul is like, hello, Earth, wound me in as many ways as you can master in a span of a single lifetime. And then there are like a lot of those. And like we go on this roller coaster, we descend, we're like, just hurt us in every way so I can have all of these trauma. Why do we want this trauma? Makes no logical sense, because trauma always leads to expansion. It's almost like when you're cracked, like, I don't know, your heart is cracked or like any wounding really. And then eventually it gets sealed up. There's a lot of light that's created in the process of the sealing up of the wound. And that's how, you get all of the light that your soul is really after. This lifetime that you're living right now is not that. It's not the time where you came to incur external wounding. This is the second type of incarnation. The second type of incarnation I would refer to as, I guess, the healing stage, right? Or the release of karma stage, right? So whatever is coming up for you in this lifetime as a really, really big pattern in any area of your life, doesn't really matter. It is not because you're meant to repeat the pattern. Because if that were the case, that would be another lifetime where, your traumas, your wounds would get deeper. That would be the first type of incarnation I was referring to. Every single time in this particular incarnation of yours, if a pattern is coming through, it is because you're meant to heal it. And if you're meant to heal it, that means that the entire universe is conspiring for you to heal it. That means that every single person is going to be a mirror to a crazy degree. And that means that this lifetime finally is not going to be the repeat of the old scenario. So from the mental, kind of like appealing to the mental space right now with everything that I'm saying, understand that this is not the lifetime that you will be persecuted again. And definitely not to the degree that you have been, right? So this is a lifetime where you get, in your particular case, Jana, you get to come back into the sisterhood. But the only way you can do that is with a heart wide open. What is a heart wide open? It's a heart that has experienced pain, done all the healing, and says, you know what? I'm going to be open again, irrespective of the fact I can be hurt. I know hurt is a real possibility. I've experienced it, but I'm no longer afraid. And the type of heart healing that you are asked to do is the healing that the Divine Mother can provide. And literally what they're showing me right now, and it seems like some of you guys are resonating with this exact wound, because I'm getting this feeling of like tension in my heart. So if you feel you have a heartache right now, right, about anything, any type of wounding, somebody hurt you, especially the people, because the people tend to, I invite you to really quickly close your eyes with me, and Johnny, you certainly, this one's for you. And imagine that there is a tree in front of you. And then this tree is directly from the mother energy, right? The universal mother energy. You don't have to try to understand what that is. And this energy, this tree has a sap. Like there is a wounding in the tree, and the tree has a sap, and the sap is green in color. And it's just going down this tree. This sap of the tree, this green sap, is the medicine from the mother that she's sending it to you, from her heart to yours. So take that balm and imagine placing it, take that sap from the tree and imagine massaging that into your heart space. And then there is just a little bit of a transmission. A transmission is usually something that, like a voice that wants to come through me. Sometimes a transmission is a light language. I don't know what wants to come through. I'm just going to start talking. If you guys hear weird sounds that you don't understand, just allow yourself to receive and know that that is a form of healing as well. Don't try to overanalyze it. In this space of the mother, I wanted to remind you that you are loved and that you can be healed instantly. Healing instantly is a choice that you can make. You don't have to wait decades. You don't have to wait till the next lifetime. The healing that you seek is available to you right now. There are many sisters and brothers surrounding you right now. And just this community alone is triggering the old wound of being betrayed by somebody who was close to you, a sister or a brother. It could have been a spiritual setting, which didn't make it any easier for you. In fact, it probably made it harder. And I want you to get present to how many shards of your heart are in the grass underneath your feet. Look at all of these shards. And I want you to come and start picking them up one by one. In each of these shards, imagine placing into your heart. Each of these little shards could have been a betrayal, or a word said in anger, or an unmet expectation, an unfulfilled need, anything that you perceive was heartbreaking. Allow yourself to gather all of these heart particles, all of these shards, and bring them into your heart space. Owa kaya mawa tushu kotu ura, ichinoya mau toruku, ayanata peya uae, shia ua, ka, ron koyu uturuya ea, kae chia noru itae, pawa kita, noru utu ea, kaoritu aya, shea he. Please know that the sisterhood and the brotherhood is available to you in this lifetime. It is available to you if you want to claim it. It is available to you as a form of abundance that you deserve. And so allow yourself to step into the circle like you did once. And know that this is the closing of the karmic loop and the closing of the cycle. And what once was doesn't have to repeat again. We will leave the past in the past. I'm going to go back to Jenna's question. Jenna, what is required from you is trust and faith, ironically, in this situation.
No, my guides keep telling me that my worst fear is I don't have faith in faith. And I actually came to your like October 1 or whatever with the God wound, and that one helped a lot. But I know they keep telling me this over and over again.
It's interesting. We had a conversation about faith with a friend last night. Faith is a frequency that lives in the feminine domain.
Mhm.
And it is almost the opposite in terms of vibration to science. That is why it's almost like, that's why it's so hard to find in a world that's so dominated by masculine energies, because we're so wired to want to have proof for everything. We're so wired to be like, well, where's the study? Well, show me the numbers. Faith is the opposite of that. It's like, well, your heart just knows and you don't require any proof. Ironically for you, the doubt will disappear by walking. You know, the doubt always disappears in action. I'll explain what I mean by that. There are two types of masculine states that we often find ourselves in. There is either the thinker or the doer. Each of them have their light sides and dark, you know, like shadow sides. At the same time, in your masculine, you're either one or the other. You're never both at the same time. So you're either thinking about doing an action, overanalyzing, obsessing, worrying, blah, 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 all of the things, right, that the overanalyzer brain is doing, or you're funneling your masculine energies into action, but you're not doing both at the same time. So very often when you're truly in action, you know, there is very little thinking about the action. You're in the process of the action. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what you are being invited to do is shift your masculine energy from obsessively overthinking and overanalyzing into action. And you would notice the moment you start taking actions toward the actual move, towards planning, you know, okay, like I need a job, I need this, I need that, I need a plane ticket, I need somewhere to live, your doubt will dissipate in that action. Because the over-obsessive, over-analyzing brain cannot live together with the actual doing of the thing. And sometimes what I do to myself, and it's like a trick, I'm like, do first, think later. Because the natural inclination is to think first, do later.
Yeah.
And that's why you can get stuck in purgatory for like ever. But in this case, and especially when it's a calling jhana like this one, and it's a very strong one for you. And by the way, I see a lot of abundance for you in Maui, but this is very much a test. And with a test, you just do it. I know it sounds like, oh, okay, Mariya, like if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. Yes, but not everybody's guided like you. And that's a big difference, right? Because most people don't do because they don't know what to do and they have not been told by spirit what to do. You have been. And if you have been, it's almost like then it's a sacred pact between you and the universe. And the only way through is in. Like the only way forward is to dive in. And then notice that you thought you were diving into an abyss, but in fact, there is a safety net. Like that you're literally jumping on a safety net. That's what it feels like. And again, know that your block is not material. Your block is wanting to push out like what the repercussions that you think are going to come with the path and with the sisterhood. But even through this exercise that we did today, the going is going to get easier. And I think that, and we're going to move on to the next person really, really shortly. But another thing that could help you, Jana, is the overall, like, do this practice of accepting the feminine energies. And by the way, for a lot of you, this is a pretty good practice. We're probably not going to have the time to do it today. But this practice came to me earlier this morning for this group because I already started tuning in. So there's a whole lot of acceptance that a lot of you guys need to do on your feminine energies. It should be done in a meditative state. And you start with accepting the little girl in you. And it doesn't matter if you're in a male body in this lifetime, by the way. So you start like the acceptance of the feminine energies, which is really the acceptance of abundance. Abundance are like, the energies of abundance are divine mother. They're feminine, they're not masculine. I think we see a lot of very rich men and we think that, well, maybe that's masculine. No, abundance is actually the mother because the most abundant thing in the universe is Mother Gaia, our planet, and she's a woman. Last time I checked, she has all the gold in the world. technically it belongs to her. So that being said, anytime you're not aligning with abundance, it's because a version of your part of you or many parts of you are rejecting the feminine energy. It always starts with the little girl inside of you. So this aspect of your own divine child. And so in a meditative state, I would invite you to meet your own inner girl, like the little girl that you perhaps you may have forsaken her, when you were like a very, very, very young child, because maybe she was uncomfortable, maybe she wanted too much, maybe she was too gregarious, too loud, maybe she wanted to paint on the walls. I don't know what she did that parents didn't approve of. I certainly was painting a lot on, on wallpaper that my parents did not enjoy that, let me tell you, because they had to redo that all the time. And so my little girl, like my little artist, was very much suppressed by my parents not accepting her form of art. The point in the story here is that you go inside and you find all of these suppressed girly parts of you, and you see them fully, and you give room in your body for those parts. Then the second level of acceptance of the mother energies are no pun intended, but pun intended, is your physical mother in this lifetime. So if you judge your mom, how she was, if you, a part of you wants to repel her and make her wrong for how she treated you, how she was, or how she was not, and what she did in life, and the choices that she made, and blah, 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 and her energies, that is you repelling your own abundance. So the second step after you accept your own little girl inside is to accept your mom just as she is or just as she was. And it matters not if she's no longer alive, your mom, and it even matters not if you are an orphan and have never seen your mom a day in your life, and she's just this, idea in your head. It's still the process that you can go through, right? So that's the second one. The third one, very complicated, would be accepting the energies of chaos in the world. So what I mean by that is one of the vibrations of the Divine Mother is all of the things that you cannot predict or control. So that's the force majeure. They call it in contracts, force majeure, things that you can't, like the acts of God, sometimes they call it. But really, it's like, usually the acts of God look like Mother Nature being angry. It's really the feminine rage, really, not the masculine. Now, I mean, not to go into holy scriptures, but like if it's an earthquake, I don't know how many of you think it's an act of God, but rather like Mother Gaia, something is happening with her. And like accepting that, yes, in nature, things happen. Like all of the force majeure things, the floods, the hurricanes. I'm speaking like a true Floridian that experiences them all the time. And like understanding that like there's a whole level of rejection of this way of expression of like the divine, the feminine energies of our planet. So if you're rejecting, repelling, judging, or scared, if you're just scared that, oh my God, like earthquake is going to happen, or I'm like just worried or scared of nature, realize that that's your version of repelling femininity as well. And that means abundance. Because if the feminine energies are going to give you abundance, but you're sitting here scared of nature and natural phenomena, then that energy is not fully accepted in your body. And so like essentially you would go layer by layer by layer, accepting all of the levels of femininity. And then the last one is accepting the Divine Mother, right? Like going upstairs and like accepting the female face of God and looking at and exploring and observing all of the misconceptions that you have about her and all of the stories that you tell yourself about who she is and if she's even real, because a lot of people don't even think she's real. And if you don't think the divine feminine is real, again, a little bit harder to align with those energies. Let's take the next question. I hope this was helpful. Again, it's coming through the channel. I feel like I talk a lot, but maybe that's the precise, maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
maybe also put in comments plus sign or heart if you resonate with this. Maybe you have a similar situation. Yeah.
Lots of hearts going up.
Thank you so much, Mariya. I really
You're so
appreciate it.
welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you. All right, let's go next. Bruna. Okay.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. I just need to
I'm
find
so
you.
grateful to be here for your work, everything. I'll go to the question because I wrote it because my English is not so good. I understand better than I talk right now. I did lots of work about money beliefs, manifestation, receiving, deserving, ancestral healing. The list goes on. And I'm grateful about all the things I manifest in my life. But now I also want to manifest a huge amount of money in my bank accounts for me to use, multiply it, and choose freely whenever I want to buy something, an experience, to hire somebody. I don't know. Instead of just waiting for it to be manifested in my life somehow one day.
Mm-hmm.
Example, I want to buy batteries. It's so cheap, but at this moment I'm manifesting the batteries, and and they're so cheap compared to everything I want to manifest.
Uh-huh.
And
So why don't
always,
you just buy the batteries? Sorry, I have to ask the question.
because money is an issue right now, and
Okay.
I don't choose the batteries because I need for something.
Other things. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Got it. What is the large sum of money that you're trying to manifest, if you don't mind me asking?
In my currency, it would be 30 million.
Okay.
30 million, no, grand. I don't know. I'm lost in 30
Okay. 30,000. 30,000.
monthly.
Okay, 30,000 in your currency.
30,000.
Got it. Okay, got it. The reason I'm asking, actually, let me just double check this. And how much is, like, what is the amount that you're able to attract right now? So you want 30,000, and where you are right now?
I'm not attracting. I work, but I don't sell, and I don't attract like the money. I attract things or gifts, or I don't know. I like, if I think about I want a massage, I win it. I don't know how, but I win it. But I want now the money for me to choose.
I love this and you, and like, it's just, thank you for putting all like your heart into this question. It's so adorable because you have the opposite problem of Jenna. You're very much in your feminine, actually, because when you guys want money and you get gifts, that's the feminine thing. It's like it's almost like anything that you want for you, darling, as long as it's not this magic one that can truly make you feel empowered. A lot of women who are in their feminine energies attract gifts all the time, like freebies or free trips and like things like that. But ironically, that very often doesn't feel fulfilling, because what you're trying to claim is actually almost from more of a masculine world, right? So first, when you're trying to manifest a particular amount of money, we're already starting to get into the numbers, which is more of the mathematical side of the world. So that's how I know that what needs to now step up to the occasion are your masculine energies. There is a passive way to manifest and an active way to manifest. So what you're doing naturally, Bruna, is the passive manifestation. Passive manifestation is the feminine way. Passive manifestation is when essentially you just have a really good relationship with the feminine side of the energy. And because of that, the feminine side of the energy just like draws things to you. What you don't have yet, or don't have it consciously fully developed yet, is the masculine side of the active manifesting, and just in general, the masculine energies. So here's the deal. When it comes to specific forms of money, and I've learned that I had to learn this many years ago. I'm trying to remember how many years ago. Well, I started going for larger sums of money, maybe in like 2017. So it's not all that many years ago. Depends, like everything is relative. And the problem is at the time, my throughput was not high enough. So a lot of the energy of money is about your throughput. So in other words, if I have a container that is this big, but I want water, which is, money flow, right? If I want water enough to fill a bathtub, I don't have the container to contain enough waters in the bathtub. My container is just not big enough. And so even if the money comes in, A, I'm not going to be able to receive it. B, I'm not going to be able to hold on to it, and certainly not going to be able to start turning it into material things that I want and like working with, because like you don't want money for the sake of money. Actually, when people want money, they really want something else that they don't believe they can get other ways, right? So we don't want to be closing ourselves down just to like, I want money in the form of money and nothing else. Like you still want your feminine energies to keep going and attracting things to you, because that's a fantastic energy. And you want to, step one, increase your throughput, right? Like, in other words, like, what do I mean by throughput? Yeah, like a container, like you want to increase the size of your container. I had to do it many times in my lifetime. It's literally a practice, because every time you get to the next level, you start hitting the ceiling. Like you start hitting the ceiling. You know how some people actually even say, like, I hit a ceiling in my earnings, like my earning potential, like it's just like in the same spot. Like I cannot break through the ceiling. That's a container, like energetic container that you actually have. And truly, the money that you receive from the world is always going to be in accordance and in complete correlation to the size of that container. Like the universe just cannot physically give you more. So step one for you is to increase that container.
It's my receiving container. How much I receive?
Correct. For business owners, there's another version of that, which is your business is almost like a kingdom or a queendom. And usually there's a fence that, protects the border. If you want your business to grow, double, triple, quadruple, 10x, doesn't really matter. You need to increase the size of your queendom and like move the borders out. It's the same concept, but one you do for yourself, you increase the size of your container, and the other one you do for your business, but the practice is really, really the same. And you guys, this I tested many times and it works. Like works. Like works on big numbers, works on small numbers, works on like everything in between. So can you guys just put like plus signs in the chat if you feel you too have a problem with the size of that receptacle? That like you feel like, oh, I don't think I have enough. Okay, cool. Okay, so a ton of you. Okay, then I don't feel bad. Do you guys? Okay, cool. Can you give me, I don't know. Could you give me a heart? You guys know, like react with a heart. If you want for us to increase it right now, like if you just want to devote some time to do the practice, can you give me the hearts? Oh, look at all those hearts. Okay, let's do it. Okay, convinced. The group has spoken. Okay, cool. Close your eyes. Like everything, it requires some introspective moments. First, I want you to get really present to how big your container is right now. So imagine that your body, like inside of your body, there is a bowl, like empty bowl, like a crystalline bowl. And first, I want you to get present to how big it is right now. For some of you, you may feel it like it's pretty small. For others, it's a little bit bigger. Now think of the amount of money that you're making right now, monthly or yearly, like it doesn't really matter, like however you want to think. If it's $100, how you're making it. This is the size of that container. So what you are on average getting per month is how much this container is comfortable holding. The container can maybe stretch plus 20%, but not beyond that. So if you have a specific amount of money that is your ideal, and it is bigger than 20% of what you're making right now, your current container just won't do. It's impossible. From the energetic standpoint, it will never happen. Or the only way it could happen is if you could keep increasing 20%, 20%, 20% over a prolonged amount of time. So like that's, linearly you may get there, but not immediately and not very quickly. Now think about the amount of money that you want in a month or in a year. And specifically think of it in relationship. Is it 2 times more than you have, or 3 times more? Or is it 10 times more? There is no wrong answer. It's whatever you want, by the way, right? Say for you, it's 3 times more. I'm just going to use that as an example. So you look at your container, right? Really focus on it, really look at it. You're like, okay, this is my container. If you want 3 times more money, you want to increase that container by 3 times. So make it 3 times bigger. If you're worried about getting it wrong, ask the universe to expand it to a size that it is precisely 3 times bigger. And now I want you to monitor your physical body for any discomfort, pain, sensation. There is somewhere in your body where this thing doesn't feel comfortable. Like you're increasing it 3 times and then it wants to contract back again because a part of your body is like, hell no, not so fast, darling. And so I want you to focus where it is right now. In a lot of you, it's going to be in the stomach because that's what I'm feeling right now. That means that in a lot of you, it's somewhere in your stomach. If it's elsewhere for you, that's totally fine. Whatever, all of these sensations that you're having, by the way, you may be having multiple sensations in your body. I invite you to merge them together into one sensation, like one, almost like being, a form, a shape inside of you. And then we're going to observe this resistance that you have. This resistance may be ancestral, it may be your personal, it doesn't really matter. It is a resistance that's very alive and living in your body. If there is any, but also do a quick scan for me one more time as you've increased your container however many times, 3 or 5, it doesn't really matter. And as you focus on that container, again, some parts of your body are going to give you an ache or a sensation or a discomfort or tingling. We're like, no, look here, we're not aligned. So scan your body top to bottom. Make sure you're not leaving any of them behind. Yes, and if you already feel like you need to clear your throat or something is happening with you, the process has already begun. So all of this is aligned and everything is in your highest good. Great. So connect all of these sensations and almost like imagine that you're taking all of that energy outside of your body and we're going to observe it. What does it look like for you? Does it have a shape? Does it have a smell? Like if you were to touch it, would it have a texture? Does it feel heavy or light? Just notice all of the things about these things. So this is a part of you, right? Or maybe many parts in one. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to go through the acceptance exercise of these parts and realize that this wounding that you see in front of you is something that happened to you before, when you were a less experienced version of you. Now you are the most experienced version of you yet. You're the most experienced, you're the most sophisticated version of you. You're the wisest version of you that you've ever been. And so from this place of wisdom and experience, you can become your own healer. And so we're going to talk to this part that we see in front of you that is all of this pain condensed as this higher aspect of you, the more experienced part of you. And so as you're focusing on this shape that represents your resistance, that has a smell, that has a color, most likely, look at it and tell it. So repeat my words after me. You may do so out loud or you may do so in your head. It is important, though, that you repeat those. I know that you have suffered so much. And I am so sorry. I finally see you. I am witnessing all of your pain. I see your suffering. And I'm so sorry you had to live through trauma around money. I am so sorry about the days you didn't have enough. And I'm sorry for the lifetimes where you couldn't provide for your children or your parents or yourself. I am so sorry that you felt alone in this money question. And I'm so sorry you felt you had to figure it out on your own. And I know that you have suffered. And I know that you have experienced lack. But I am here now. And I will no longer let you face it alone. You no longer have to figure this out by yourself. You no longer have to suffer. And you no longer have to struggle. I know how hard it feels to be alone. But from this day onward, I will never leave you. I will be with you every step of your way. So you can become the baby again. And I'll be the adult. I'll take care of the problems. And I'll take care of the money. And you can just play. You can do whatever you want. We're no longer relying on you, a child, to be the adult. There are other adults in the room. I got this. I got you. I got your back. And you no longer have to be alone. Alone against the world. Because you matter. You matter to me. And I love you. And I will stand by you. And we'll get through this together. You're so important to me. You're truly cherished. And from this day on, I allow you to do anything. Create anything. Play how you want to play. Pick your own adventure. And I will stand by you. and I will take care of everything. I want you to notice how this vision in front of you, how this shape in front of you is morphing and changing. For a lot of you, it has already changed. Maybe it became a child, maybe it became something else. For some of you, new possibilities are starting to open up. It may have been like a dead or dying terrain, and now things may be sprouting to life, all of this greenery, all of a sudden. And so for this energy, what you want to do now is you want to create room in your body for this energy. And so tell this energy, I am giving you room and space in my body and my life and in my heart. And now notice how when this energy drops into your heart, like when this childlike energy, when this spark of energy drops into your heart, imagine that your body now is a temple, or your body is like this large castle. And this part of you that is your most creative part, that is the most useful part, the part that just has all this boundless energy. This part of you is starting to run around this castle, and you literally allow this part to go anywhere inside of your body it needs to go. Like there is no room that is not available to this part. It can open every door and do whatever it wants there, this little child. So let it go to the kitchens, let it go to the bedrooms, let it go anywhere. That is what it means to give room to this creative energy inside of you, to this creative spark, to this potential. Definitely make sure it goes into the feet area. Because I'm, you know, as I'm looking into this group, you guys are completely forgetting about the feet. That is your, you know, that's how you feel rooted to this reality. So it's really important to make sure that that energy goes into the legs, goes into the feet, goes into the arms, the elbows, the hands as well. What's really beautiful about this energy is it's not obsessing about money, but because money is not its business, it's the kid, it's the creative part. But through its incessant aliveness, it will bring ideas to you. It will bring people to you. It will attract things to you that you did not think possible, because this part was suppressed and in pain. And now it's released, and it can literally, you can tell it, take as much space in my body as you need. Leave no stone unturned if you must. You can do anything. You are meant to thrive. I'm letting you thrive right now. Inside of my body, you thrive. You can have anything you want inside of my body. You want ice cream, you can have ice cream, whatever. You want a closet full of dresses, you can have that inside of my body. Build it, like whatever this part of you wants. You have the means of creating that inside of your castle, inside of your aura. So at least do that for yourself, so that this part of you feels the proof that if this baby part of you asks something from you as a parent, you can create it in your own castle. And that already in itself is a liberation, because this part of you is so deprived. And it's like the kid that's always wanted a toy, but the parent was always saying, what do you mean a toy? We're struggling. Let me be in my struggle right now. We'll get to the toy when I'm not struggling. But then the day when you're not struggling never comes. And so like the toy never gets bought. So allow this kid to have all the toys in the world right now in your body, in your aura, in your energy. And allow this kid to run around wild anywhere and everywhere in your body. And this energy will start shifting your vibration, your life. And now let's go back to increasing our capacity. Remember, that's how we started. It's just we got sidetracked with the resistance. Look at your container. And now look at this version of the container that is 3x bigger, or whatever was the, you know, the amount that you wanted to increase that by. And so now you look at this container that is 3 times more than what you have been making. And now it feels different in your body. Like you no longer want to repel it. You're like, this may be not very familiar to me, but it doesn't feel foreign, and it doesn't feel like I want to get rid of it like right this second. In other words, this container, once you increase it 3x, no longer wants to shrink on itself and go back to the comfort zone. Because this container is also invited to play now, invited to create, invited to be open to possibilities. And now what I will invite you to do is imagine that this amount of money that you are manifesting, like literally you can imagine it been written up in the sky. And then what you want to receive is an emerald waterfall from the mother. There is an emerald waterfall. And on that waterfall, there is this new amount of money that is written. And you just accept that into the container. And you let that container, your 3x container, receive that amount of money. And hold. And see how it feels in your body to hold this amount of money. And you just say, I accept. And I receive as my birthright. And then take that container, place that inside of your heart space. Your heart space is the center of your being. And just like your heart pumps the blood in every single part of your body, into every single part of your body, your energy heart would take that energy and distribute it exactly where it needs to go in your body. Some of you still have resistance. Some of you still have resistance to this container. So for those of you, we'll probably make the recording of this available. The reason I'm saying this is because you may need to do the practice of like feeling the discomfort in your body a couple of more times, because there's other layers. The reason it may be hard to remove all of the layers from the get-go is because you have been building resistance to the energy of money, potentially for not just generations, but lifetimes and generations. All of this is pretty dense material. And your body naturally would only allow you to do in the moment the amount of healing that you can take on in that moment. So say there may be multiple layers separating you from that sum of money. But at a time, you may only be able to remove one, because removing more than one would be an overload to your system. And so because of that, you may need to go back to that practice and remove those layers a couple of times until you feel fully comfortable with your new vessel. And like literally nothing, no part inside of you is rejecting it or is fearful of it or doesn't feel comfortable with it. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have questions around this particular practice. Just type them up if you have questions, like if what I said makes no sense. The reason I originally said those are masculine energies is because anything that is a container, anything that is a fence, all of it, like anything that's a boundary, that's a masculine energy. So you're bringing in kind of like boundaries and borders and expansion through defining what's yours and what's not yours. So anything inside of the container is yours. Anything outside of the container is not yours. In the same way that if you're building a business, anything inside of your kingdom is yours. Anything outside is not. When you move those boundaries, those borders out, it's like claiming the territory. You're claiming more territory is yours. You're claiming more abundance is yours. This is a very masculine practice. Claiming anything, conquering is a masculine energy. It's like the seventh arcana in tarot, the conqueror, the chariot. It's a very forward-moving masculine energy. And that is why, actually, truly, the game of manifestation is a dichotomy of masculine and feminine merged. It's just you need to know where the masculine energies are lacking or where the feminine energies are lacking, kind of like do the dialing in and the dialing up from there. There's one last thing I'm going to say based on what Bruna has been asking, and then we move forward to the next person. It's this. Another thing that came through Bruna's, as you were sharing, is you have this heightened importance of this amount of money coming into your life. Meaning, your level of importance of this happening is quite high. Like you really want it. Like you really desire it. And it may seem like this desire is a good thing because it ignites. there is sometimes a desire so much that it like tips, you know, like if there was so much desire in my cup, like if like somebody was pouring so much water in it at like the right angle, my cup would flip over and everything would pour out, like too much pressure. It creates actually pressure. So when you desire something like so badly, like, oh my God, I really want it. Oh my God, please God. That actually creates the opposite effect. Because when something is truly yours, or when you believe that something can be yours, or you are deserving of that something, it doesn't create this big desire in you, because it's just a matter of time. Like it's almost like a matter of fact, like, of course I'm going to get that amount of money. And then it becomes as simple as just going for a cup of tea in the morning to your, you know, local tea shop or whatever. Like, you know that they have tea. Like, you're not obsessing, like, oh my God, are they going to have tea today? I don't know, or coffee, or whatever is, you know, the thing that you like. Like, if it's a coffee shop, it probably has your cappuccino, guaranteed. And even if this one doesn't have, there's a coffee shop, I feel like, on every blog these days. So this other coffee shop certainly has it. And so like, it's very important to almost like lower this fire raging inside, because this fire is actually, it's almost like it's this energy of like desperation. And if you've ever seen, well, I don't know, like the analogy that they're showing to me right now is this. Imagine like a really beautiful woman, and then this very strange guy trying to pursue her romantically. And she tells him no, but the guy's like, but please. And she's like, but no. And the guy's like, but no, but like, you're the one for me, you don't get it. The feminine always wants to withdraw when the chase is so much, or like when the masculine energy is too much. Like there's this natural of like, no, don't call me, like this is borderline stalking, like dislike. And that's what's happening with the energies of abundance when you're coming in too strong and like really want this, really want this. What you're trying to cultivate is this very calm and sure knowing that this is going to be yours, instead of like the roiling emotions, because the roiling emotions actually, at the end of it all, it's doubt. That's what it is. There's all of this doubt that it can be yours. And if you have all of this doubt, that's what you're projecting out. And doubt has not really aligned to many people with what they want. It's actually, you know, one of those frequencies that tends to repel, right? I don't know if this is landing for you guys. For some of you, it makes sense. Good. I'm trying. Here's the deal though. If you really desire something so much, you're not going to be able to convince yourself you don't want it. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I want you to want things. But instead of desperately wanting things and like running after things and being like, just why don't you be mine already? Realize that it's already yours. Like, realize that there is absolutely no need to chase, because once you increase your capacity and your throughput, the universe is going to align you with what's yours. That is the law. It cannot happen any other way. So no, there is no need to like obsessively chase it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Like Emmy's saying, like when you obsess over a boy and that repels him. Yeah, like you can obsess over any other person. Like if it's too much, if you're coming on too strong, the natural inclination for that energy is to withdraw. As opposed to if you're, you know, you're like acting a little bit cool, you know, it's a very different vibe. Cool. All right. I hope that this makes sense. Sergey, why don't we get to the next one?
Awesome. Let's move on. Thank you, Bruna. All right. Thank you. Let's go, Sarah.
The station. I just said you're gonna call me. Everything is open. I got it. And it's so funny. As soon as I showed up, I was like, I have no question, but there's so many. So my guides are saying, what you need to hear, she will tell you. And it's going to be for everyone. So I receive.
Thank you. So no questions, just heart space.
There are so many. They're telling me basically shut up and listen.
That's
I
funny.
love it, Sarah. And thank you. I think we all needed that because I got into my masculine. And like when you went into the heart, I'm like, yeah, I can just relax. They're getting it. They're getting it, Mariya. It's okay. All right, who's next?
All right, let's go, Jennifer. Ah, Jennifer just froze. Okay, let's go, Esther.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yes, hello, hello.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wanted to ask one question to which I couldn't find the answers yet. And this is my struggle that I'm unable to gain weight easily. And I'm very easily losing weight if something happens. And I just want to know why, because overweight is very obsessed topic, but this is the opposite. And sorry, I'm very excited. So once I asked a medium about myself, about my body, and she said to me that the evolution of my body is at this stage. So I want to ask generally about your opinion and about myself, my case. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. When people cannot put on weight, it's it's like it starts obviously at the psychological level, and then translates to the physical. So your body perceives that it's dangerous to gain on weight. That's the only reason that you would align with not being able to gain weight. The only reason why it may be dangerous to gain weight is if you need to run away from something. And very often, if you had excessive or extra weight, you couldn't run quickly. So the archetype that you have is a runner. People who are trying to run away from something very, very badly, a situation very often in their past, are going to have a hard time putting on weight because it goes against the archetype of a runner. It's too much dead weight. You cannot do that. So the way of healing for you is to face the one thing that you have been running away from, that you did not want to face, and look at it and finally examine it and process those emotions and understand that that situation can no longer harm you and it can no longer hurt you and you no longer have to run away. And when you achieve that safety of not needing to run away because you will have already faced your greatest fear, so to say, it's a liberation. It's a liberation, and that liberation is going to trickle down from your energy and mental into your physical level. And then your body is going to be like, oh my God, I can finally relax. I can put on weight. I can eat. I can do all the things. Oh my God. And that is not going to be death for me. Or it's not going to be pain. Yeah. Yeah. And it seems that resonates because you're already starting to heal and clear that. Yeah. And I mean, it seems to me that you know exactly what you're running away from too.
Well, I would appreciate your insights if you have something on this, because I think I am running away from a lot of things. I mean, I recently found out some traumas and blockages, but if you would say what is the most which I need to resolve, I would be happy.
Yeah. Very often when we're running away from ourselves. That's the most important part to understand. It may seem in the external world like we're running from something, but we're really running away from ourselves. Very often runners, I have a runner archetype too. You know, I've definitely worked through a lot of that over the years. But I immigrated from home really, really early. Like I immigrated from my country very early. Oh,
Me
everything
too.
is relative, right? Yeah, exactly, because runners tend to. Very often there is something in your household because the runner archetype, it manifests so early. So really you think you're running away from home or one or both of your parental figures. There's something that about your dad that you're really running away from. Yeah. And then, of course, men in general, but men, a half of humanity. So they're going to find you, darling, no matter how far you run away from home. And in all of that, you understand that you're running away from certain aspects of you. Like I was running away from inadequacy. Like there were things that, call it my parents did or said, that made me feel inadequate or not enough. And, you know, I was running away from that. And I thought that by moving 10,000 miles away, that issue was going to be no more. But that issue was still there, right? That issue is always there because you're really running away from a part of you that is repelling another part of you. So what you are translating right now as I'm in your aura is men are dangerous. There's something about men and masculine energy that's dangerous. And a part of you wants to run away from masculine aggression and abusive relationships. And realize that the only way you would be able to align with that in the outside world is because a part of you is being abusive to the rest of you. You have been abusing yourself. Like you've been living and like inside of a world of too many constraints. And like you specifically what happens is your masculine constrains your feminine right now. It's like your masculine is in charge, is like, don't do this, do that, don't behave like this, behave like this. Like, why are you always so weird? It's like all of these things, like your masculine is very abusive, very verbally abusive inside of your head. And your feminine, which is such a sweet, your feminine energy is so beautiful. She's very gentle. And she's believed the BS for a while. Like she's believed that she's inferior for a while. She's believed that she has no value for some time. And the one way to get out of it is actually reconcile the two parts of you, right inside. It is a technique. It's a technique you can do in a deep meditative state. We don't have the time to go in it today as a group, but I will roughly tell you what you need to do. Is like, look at your inner masculine and look at your inner feminine. And then look at how they interact with one another, right? And the reason your masculine is being so abusive is because it's a child throwing a tantrum. And that's how you should look at that. Your inner masculine is really the child that's not getting their needs met. So you need to look at what are the needs of your masculine that are not being met. Your masculine feels a little bit invisible. Like your masculine doesn't feel like it's getting the acknowledgement, but the hard work that it's doing for you. And of course it's not, because technically it's being abusive. So it's very hard to be grateful to the abuser, right? And so there's this vicious cycle. And so the masculine needs to get the acknowledgement, by the way, from your parents, right? But as, you know, the oneness that you are, you can be that parent that finally gives it acknowledgement. It doesn't have to be dad in the physical world or mom. It can just be you. Because everything in your world emanates from a center. Like you are the projector that projects everything outward. So when you fix that inside, when your own inner masculine, stops abusing your inner feminine, how men behave to you in your life is going to change. How your dad treats you is going to change. How your mom treats you, everything is going to change. But it starts here. And so essentially you need to reconcile the two parts. And it starts with your masculine being really seen full force. Like there are parts about your masculine energy that need to be acknowledged. Like you from your heart of hearts need to see what's good about your own masculinity. And by the way, like, who do you think is a runner? A runner is a masculine energy. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So he's very strong, is what I would say. Your masculine is fantastic. It has done so much for you, even to carry you this far away from home so you can finally deal with the issues, right? And so you essentially heal your masculine that way. And then you see when they come together, how are the two interacting? And what you're looking is to almost like create like what looks like a sacred marriage, like a relationship where they're loving towards one another. And of course, when the feminine is not being bulldozed over, give her the permission to do what she came here to do, because she's very much in the background. And she has so many talents. You have a lot of artistic talents. And she just wants to burst through. And the only way that that would happen is if the masculine stops bulldozing her and making her believe she's not good enough. Yeah.
Спасибо большое.
Пожалуйста. Thank you. All right, let's take another one.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go, Kamala.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi,
Yes.
you guys. Oh my gosh, it's been so powerful already. So many activations. That light language always really moves me. Thank you so much for holding this space, Mariya. Oh, my question is similar. So when I went in the meditation and I'm looking at my bowl, it's actually quite large, but it's empty. And so, filling that up and receiving that. My original question is about I'm operating in divine feminine, like 70 to 80%, and manifesting money. And you've already mentioned this, like a numbers masculine, the whole financial business side tends to be very masculine. And I am not balanced in that way. Just wondering what advice you have for me. And it sounds like a lot of these other people who are in the divine feminine. Like my garden is off the hook. My relationships are amazing, but my bank account is just not like where I'm wanting it.
Yeah. I love you for asking about divine masculinity, but what you need to receive is completely something else.
Oh, give it to me.
I love what you said about you being very much in your feminine, and despite it all, you cannot really align with money. And it is because your archetype is a sacrificial mother. Get that?
What?
I know there is one that's very loud. So it's a feminine energy that's in the process of, like 80% of her is in the process of sacrifice. That was very loud. So in other words, you would put everything before you on that line to the money shop, if that makes sense. Like it's the sacrificial feminine archetype where, yes, you're very much in it, and perhaps too much so from the perspective of sacrifice. And there's this perspective of, if I take, there's less that's going to be left for another person. So let my husband take, let my daughter take, let all of the wonderful creatures of Gaia take. Oh, all of these people around me also need that. You know what? You can go ahead. You can go in front of me. Please do that. Yeah. And I'll just stay here. I'll wait for all of you to be done. And then I'll do my thing. So there's a little bit of that energy that's actually in the way of you receiving abundance. I'm not saying we need to be like, no, I'll be the first in that line. Because that is the other polarity that does not work, by the way, either. But with you, it's that, like, you see the sacrificial, the sacrifice, the martyr, it's all a self-worth issue every single time, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you're able to see clearly, when you're able to see everybody else clearly, but when you put the mirror on yourself, there's blank space. Like you're not able to see much. You're like, I think I'm this and I think I'm that, but I'm not really sure. And also, let me not even waste time. Let me focus on all of the other people in my life and things in my life that really matter, and not this person right here. So very often people with low self-worth, they feel invisible to themselves. Like they have a really hard time, like even looking at themselves and being like, what's good about me? What's not so good about me? Like there is like this blind spot massively. And the sacrificial mother archetype is something that bursts out to want to be cleared, because the sacrificial mother is the one that gives to the detriment of her resource. And all kinds of the sacrificial martyr type archetypes, they lead to depletion, like deep depletion of creative powers and powers to attract and everything else. So what you're saying, or what I'm telling you, is your feminine is depleted, Kamala. And when the feminine is depleted, it's really, really hard for it to attract. And also, a part of you feels like asking for anything for yourself is ego. Asking for anything for yourself just does not sit right. Like a good person wouldn't do that. A good person would share. A good person would, it's almost like if you could feed the entire world, you would. But in order to,
like that.
yeah, but in order to feed the entire world, you need to have the products to even make food with, right? So you first need to be abundant yourself, because how else would you do that, right? But you've been putting yourself last in a lot of these places.
You're right, and I hear you, and I also like get heat when like I spend the first hour of my day, like, or actually probably 2 to 3 hours of my day just on myself, getting ready and meditating. Like I'm taking that time for self-care, and I'm doing that work. And
you see, you're doing that work. Look at that. Self-care is not work, darling.
Okay, you're right. I enjoy it. I totally enjoy it.
And then you make yourself guilty for it, and then you
Right.
suffer because you feel so wrong for taking the time for yourself. That's what a sacrificial person would do. Like, even if you take the time for yourself, you make yourself so wrong that it's like all of the benefits you could have gotten from those 3 hours are nowhere to be found.
Mhm.
Because this energy of guilt has just annulled everything. Like, if you're going to take the time to spend in ritual in the morning, to spend in communion with spirit, you better not make yourself wrong afterwards. Otherwise, don't bother. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And of course, the answer here is to, and again, what I'm seeing is an abusive male inside of you, because who is guilting you is this masculine frequency, and it seems like that's just what it does. Like, your masculine, instead of creating or helping you co-create and being in action, spends a lot of time berating you mentally. So remember how I said your masculine can either be in the thinker or in the actor, or like in the doer? Like, there are two polarities. The
Right.
think and overanalyze or act. Your masculine is in the overanalyze right now a lot. And the overanalyze is detrimental, because if we have 100% of our masculine energies, and that's how we're getting to your original question, Kamala, 100% of your masculine resource that you get every day when you wake up is going to be distributed between think and act. If 95% of it goes to think, obsess, worry, doubt, blah, 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 the overthinker, only 5% is left for productive action. That is definitely not balance. So in order for you to like make meaningful change, allow yourself to think less and do more. That's the irony of it. Like, to obsess less, to doubt less. And literally, I kind of said it again, said it before, but I'll say it again. Sometimes when I catch myself overanalyzing, I tell myself, I'll do this first, and then I'll think about it. I'll do this first, I'll think about it. I'll give you this example. So I'm working with a coach right now for how I'm, essentially on my spiritual side, for how I'm showing up on social media. And the coach wanted me to post my coming out story on Instagram. Was it, I don't know, like maybe 2 weeks ago. Every part of my being resisted it. Like, you have no idea. My overanalyzer was on all-time high, because I'm like, this is dangerous, Mariya. I don't know. There are so many people on Instagram. They're going to judge you, all of the things. And then I realized that if I let my masculine, that was given, like my masculine potential for action, to go into overanalyzing this, that my coach is telling me to do, which I know is the right call for me, instead of actually doing it, I'm going to squander away that resource.
Yeah.
At the same time, it literally, in that moment, and that's how irrational those fears are, I felt like if I were to post my coming out story on social, like, I felt like my hands were going to fall off and my feet were going to fall off. That's like, I'm like instant probably, which I know is not logical. But there was a part of me inside of me that believed it was real. And in that moment, I was like, okay, well, I can go on a very big loop of trying to work through my issues on parts work and whatnot. Or I can just do it and see if my hands fall off. And I legitimately just did it, and my hands are still here. And that's how I took this impulse from God that was masculine. And instead of putting it through the channel of doubt, I put it through the channel of action. And once you do something, you realize that it's too late to overanalyze it. So that would have been wasted energy anyway, right? So like, do first, think later type of situation when you know the guidance is on point. Like when you know what you're meant to do, just get into the action instead of get stuck in the purgatory of like thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. Does that help? Does that land for you?
It's almost like I feel like it's a blind spot. Like as you're telling me this, I feel like I'm not an overanalyzer. Like I feel like a lot of times I'm just, I'm in the flow, or I'm doing what needs to be done. Although a lot of that is, the household things. But I'll have to like really meditate on this.
What are you're doing a lot of, oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Thank you for saying that. There are actions and then there are actions, and they're not created equal.
Boy, that's true. Okay.
Oh my God, my friend is gonna hate me, but I'm gonna use her as an example. Please don't hate me, friend. You're gonna remain nameless. Nobody's ever gonna know. So my friend is supposed to be on social media sharing with people about essential oils. And she wakes up in the morning and then she feels like this fire is just like, it's in kind of like fire under her belly. Like she's like, oh my God, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. There's been so much guidance, like every freaking medium, every channel, everybody told her she needs to do this. Like she knows, this is extreme clarity. And this fire, this masculine energy that is given her for that action comes into her body. And then she does everything in the kitchen sink to do all of these other actions, just not the one thing she's supposed to do. As in, she's even shared that she goes swimming to douse the fire. She's like, I'm just going to go swimming into the water so this fire is extinguished and so it doesn't burn me from the inside. And so she takes like the God-given potential and energy that's supposed to be used to a very simple task in my mind, go and post, go and share, go and tell people what you're supposed to. She's like, let me work through this energy. And so she's very active, extremely active in all the wrong places. So think of your actions as like, what are the actions that are going to get me to where I'm trying to go? And what are the actions that I'm doing to fill up the space to prevent myself from thinking that I'm doing the wrong actions?
I'm really bad at goal setting, and I'm really bad at future thoughts.
So don't goal set. That's the beauty of feminine. You don't have to goal set. But like, for example, where do you think it is the most likely scenario that your money is going to come from?
Okay, I've asked this to my pendulum and it says inheritance. So like, I don't know. My aunt died and I got some jewelry. I don't know, Mariya.
Okay, beyond inheritance, what else are we hoping for?
I don't know, but I need some like major investors. I've got this project that like really lights me up, that I'm excited about, but it's going to be like $1 billion. I don't actually know how much it's going to cost, but it's like a big thing.
What else beyond inheritance and $1 billion do we have on that plate? What other possibilities are you seeing?
I'm hoping it's not work, Mariya, please.
Oh my God, you're too funny. You're like, just don't suggest action, Mariya. Whatever you do, just don't suggest action. She's like, I'm missing my masculine energies, but just don't suggest action. I'm like, that's what masculine energies are.
Okay.
No, but that's the thing. There are many ways that you can make money, darling. One such thing is through teaching and sharing what you know. The other one is through selling the products that you create. And I know you already are creating them. Where the masculine action is going to come is in the marketing side of those products, because the products are already good. But what are you doing to promote them above and beyond? Putting them on the website for them to sell. That is where the hard work really begins. And for you, that is being on camera. And that is the action.
Okay. Yeah, I've started posting on my YouTube channel again, so that feels
there
aligned.
You go. Yes. So more of that.
Okay, Mariya, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
You're so wonderful. Love you. Love you all. Thank you, Sergey.
Thank you. All right.
Let's do
moving on.
another one. Yeah, let's do another one.
All right. So I'm worried I'm gonna butcher the name, but Parinita P. Yeah.
I kind of knew it was me. Uh, First of all, like, thank you so much for everyone who raised their hands and asked their questions. Everything that Mariya said, like, most of it resonated with me. And at this point, I'm like, what do I ask now? Um, yeah. So there is this constant, like, yeah, most of the questions you've already answered. There's this constant thing or feeling of either like, what is wrong with me, or either I'm projecting it outside. Is this wrong? Is this wrong? Is this wrong? So either it's on me or either it's outside. And it doesn't go away.
What did your dad think was wrong with you?
Oh boy. All of me.
Yeah, that's what it
I
is.
don't think he, yeah, I don't think he liked any of it. Like anything that I did or didn't do, or even when I was sitting, like that was even triggering for him, and which was so annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So the inner critic that you keep carrying on in your head is the voice of your dad. So it is outside and inside of you is the thing. It's not just one. Like what is happening internally is exactly the projection, the mirror in the external world. So when you were a kid, you just internalized his voice, you put that in your head, and now you're an adult and you're carrying it with you day in and day out. At one point, there was a point in that, meaning you thought that if only you remember all of the things that he told you were wrong with you, maybe one day you would have hope of becoming better or getting validation from him. But time goes on and that voice hasn't yet started to tell you you're awesome. And spoiler alert, it never will. Like that particular voice that you're internalizing, that voice is not meant to coddle you. I know this, I'll explain what I mean. In my mind, that voice was my mother. It wasn't a dad, but it was a very similar situation, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I went on this whole journey of achieving physical things in my physical world. You know, I built this big company. I have all these, you know, hundreds of people working for me. And I was hoping that one day my mom was just going to recognize that I'm freaking awesome, you know, and telling you a very personal story that's going to bring it home for you. And so this summer, I come to see my parents all the time. And by the way, I have a great relationship with my mom, but my inner critic is still an all-time high. And I'm telling my mom how I'm like on my spiritual journey. I have all of these people that I'm helping, and I'm writing all of these books, and I'm doing the Oracle decks, and I'm running my company all at the same time. And I'm like this little kid, like sharing with mom how I'm excited. And she's like, and where are your kids, Mariya? And in that one sentence, she just put me completely down, because in her system of value, I would only have value if I birthed a child, and everything else about me has no value. The moral of this story is very simple, that there's not enough chasing we can do, and there's not enough running we can do sometimes for our parents to accept us. So we might as well not try. You know, we might as well not try. The whole part of this thing with my mom, you know, we done a lot of deep healing. But for me, it was through the process of heartbreak, of acknowledging that no matter what I do, that's never going to be good enough for my mom. Because by looking at me, my mother is judging herself. And I cannot fix that for her. So by looking at you, when your dad is looking at you, he's criticizing himself. And by the way, he's older now, most likely. Yeah. And just like my mom, they feel like they're running out of opportunities to fix themselves. So there's a little bit of that. So it's not becoming better, in fact. And I found a lot of liberation in the fact that I don't think I will ever I don't think I will ever shift enough and change everything about me to finally become the version that my mom expects. So I just, in fact, accepted defeat. I accepted that my mom would always think I'm a failure, and that's okay. I still love my mom, and she still loves me. That's the ironic part, right? She still loves me. And in that process of going through that heartbreak, I realized that yes, I picked the parents that I picked because they had to cause the exact type of wounding to get me to the place where I am right now. Because if my mom wasn't overtly critical of me, I would not have become the person that I have become. And from there, I got into massive amounts of gratitude for my mother. Massive. So ask yourself, what is it that you have truly gained from this experience of your father thinking that you're not enough all the time? Who have you become?
The word that is coming up is achiever, which doesn't feel true. Like, yeah, it's like I had this corporate job and like, yeah, it's like last 1.5 year, it's just like radical shift from 0 to 1, like from being in tech company manager to like totally like this is like, yeah, I don't know how I'm even, I cannot even imagine how I'm living this life, but yeah, yes, like I've done a lot of healing around like my father wounds and stuff, but it's still like I have some compassion for him, but I don't accept him, and neither I don't feel like, yeah, some of me is like still hoping the relationship could improve, but a part of me is like, let's not even talk to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's, yeah, it's like, when does this finally end? Like that's the
Yeah.
feeling.
Mm-hmm. Two things that I wanted to say. We're going to talk about father relationship, but let me finish my thought around who you've become. On the one hand, you have achieved things, right? You had a career, corporate, like you had a good job. On the other hand, you realize probably that that's not making you happy.
Yeah, I'm an artist now, like my lifelong dream, like I'm almost like like I'm on that path, but yeah, it's scary. Like each and every step is so calculated, and every step the same question. What is wrong with me? What's wrong with like outside of me?
Yeah. The answer is there is nothing wrong with you. It's a lesson. It's a lesson for you to learn that there is nothing wrong with you. And you go through that lesson by imagining, envisioning, and believing that there are a billion things wrong with you. And then realizing, no, that wasn't true. That wasn't true. That's not true. That's not true. And you go to the last one and you realize that none of them are true because nothing is wrong with you. It never has been. It's a false story. And that story is ready to crumble and fall away. It's time. Because what you're meant to is to be on your journey, almost like irrespective of what dad thinks about your journey. Like not trying to live in his shadow, not trying to always look behind your back and be like, what does dad think? Subconsciously, right? Not consciously, because consciously you're repelling him. Consciously, like, I don't want to talk to him. In fact, if I never see him again, that'll be a day too soon. But subconsciously, he's all over your aura. He's everywhere. Like you're washing the dishes, he's there. You're going to bed, he's there. You're waking up, he's there. That's not really like the same thing as like not having anything to do with your dad, because he's there. He's very present. He's everywhere, in fact, in a lot of your thoughts, in a lot of the words that you say, which is like a very funny way to break up with someone, but they're still living in your house. Here's what I would recommend. With the parent wounding, there are many layers. The best way is to write a letter. The best way to start fixing that relationship is to write a letter. Write a letter to dad that you would never show to him. Don't worry, like, that those letters are not meant to be shown. You literally buy a notebook devoted specifically for that. You pick, you go to a store, you pick the notebook that feels right for this type of healing, and you start writing a letter to dad. What's important is to connect to the many child aspects of you that thought he sucked while writing this letter. So I'll explain. When I was going through a process like that, when I was, and by the way, each person should write a letter to both of their parents, whether you guys think you have an issue with them or you don't think you have an issue with them. It is an incredibly, incredibly healing thing to do, because you cannot even imagine how many areas of your life are impacted by those two relationships. Every single area of your life is. When I was writing those letters, the first couple of pages was the adult Mariya in her love and light, saying how the parents are awesome and nothing ever happened that was not good. And so I was writing, but I'm like, I don't think any healing is happening over here. What's the problem? He's still not getting to the healing. And I realized that it was not the adult version of me that has come to terms with what my parents did and didn't do that needed the healing. It was the many child aspects of me that are still stuck in when something happened and they got upset when they were like 3 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. And it's giving room and a voice to those parts that are still in the massive upset mode. It's almost like asking yourself, like, what of my inner children is the most upset with dad right now? And then imagining, like, allowing yourself to become that one child and literally putting your tantrum on paper. Like, you did this to me and this was not good. And why did you do this? And I hate you. And you would realize that there's a finite amount of charge in each of those parts, meaning you're not going to be able to write the nasty things forever. They run out very quickly. But the most important thing is to not hold them within, because those are the parts that are holding you connected and keeping you connected to your dad day in and day out. Because they have been unheard, and this trauma, this emotion has not been processed. It's like we're pretending it's not real. We're pretending it's not happened. When you're letting it out, these parts of you come through and they're becoming cleared. And you keep writing until there are parts that want to speak and take the mic. It's like an open mic scenario. Anybody can come up on stage and say anything about dad. Justified or unjustified. As long as that part feels, that's how they feel. That's totally cool. And towards the end of it, you would notice that inadvertently you're arriving to the healing, to a place where you've said everything that was to be said. And all of these parts at least feel spoken, they feel heard. And it's a very, very different feeling. And towards the end of this exercise, you burn the notebook. And through the practice of burning, you release all of that. And it just disappears into the ether. And that alone would help you clear a lot of what's brewing between you and dad. And you don't even have to talk to him. He never has to know that this happened. And then if you ever need to remove another layer, you can buy a second notebook 10 years later and do the same exercise, or whenever you feel cold. Because sometimes when we remove a layer, there's like a layer underneath it. It doesn't mean that you're not being healed. It just means that you can only take so much healing in one time. And so just be gentle with your process. Be gentle with your process and know that. And for you, I would also recommend this exercise that I gave earlier today. Look at your inner masculine and look at your inner feminine, because your inner masculine is very overpowering. And then there's a whole lot of regimented things that your inner masculine thinks you should and shouldn't do. It's like there is the law of the land, and it's very strict. And if you don't follow it down to the T, your masculine gets upset and it starts this whole situation of self-blame. And it's very hard to create in this space. And your feminine really wants to create. But again, a little bit of a pattern, she gets bulldozed over, and it's like her values don't matter because there's the law of the masculine land. That's what's most important. And so making sure that your masculine and your feminine befriend each other, it is really, really important. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that really resonates. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Let's take one more. I know we're out of time, but what else is new in my life? When did I ever finish an event on time? Like literally never.
All right, let's do Anne-Marie.
So being me, yes?
No, Anne-Marie, A-N-N-E, Marie.
Yeah, that's me.
Uh-huh. Hello, hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh yes, of course. Oh, I'm really, really grateful that I'm picked. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Mariya, for doing this. Actually, I was wondering what to ask you because I'm quite, yeah, grateful, happy right now. But yeah, I also have like lack of a lot of things that blocking me. Um, I'm doing quite good because the last 12 years I worked a lot on myself. I had trauma therapy. I did a lot of inner work and a lot of inner work, and it pays off right now, so I feel really good. But yeah, right now I'm really thinking about what's actually my sole purpose because I'm doing a course right now. I'm developing my psychic skills because I know I'm good at it. I know I have it in me and I really want to help other people. And I'm wondering if that's the way, if that's, yeah, because I've been through a lot, I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. And yes, maybe you can tell me something about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you what is very present in your field, if that is okay, because I think that that is probably the easiest way for us to start. You have accomplished a lot and you have been through so much. And while you're saying you're happy, a part of you is actually very sad. There's all of this sadness in your aura. And I'll tell you specifically what the sadness is all about. It's actually, you're too serious is the problem. Like you're very
Yes.
responsible, you're very serious, you're very methodical, you're very, just like steady and like all of this. And what's missing in your life is play. What's missing in your life is inner child just going rampant and wild and what your inner child wants to do. Because she's like literally jumping up and down right now saying, hey, am I finally going to get some airtime, please? Because even when you're talking about spiritual work, it feels like a chore. It's like, I want to do it because I'm good at it. Not because I'm excited, not because I'm thrilled, not because I want to do it and it's so fun, not because my inner child wants to play every way, from here till Sunday. No, it's like, I'm good at it. I want to do it. And like, that's how a part of you feels. It's like this inner child. It's really sad because it's almost like the mind is dictating what to do instead of this inner child or this heart aspect. And so, yes, you're meant to work with people and you're fantastic at that. But this otherworldly sadness from not seeing this aspect of you that just wants to play and create and have fun, frankly, instead of studying. And instead of bettering yourself.
Oh my God, yes, I'm doing it like I can't stop, really, because I love it. And I'm really, 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 it makes me really yeah, happy because not that I have to do it, but I'm it's really something I longed for a very long time, and now I'm doing it. But I feel I understand why you are saying this because I'm really serious because I don't want to ruin my life, I want to do something, I want to mean something for myself and for the world.
Yes, let me make a quick note. You're saying I am happy. The correction here is a part of you is happy when you're studying and when you're devoting a lot of your time to this pursuit. And a part of you is very sad all at the same time. And what you're seeking is balance. I'm not saying drop the studying, no, because then this part that really loves it, that really thrives it, that wants to help people, then that part is going to be sad. because that part is not going to get any airtime. But that has not been the case for you. The part that has not been getting airtime is the spontaneous part. Like the part that just doesn't have to plan anything and it just can go with the flow and can do the unreasonable thing. Like that is the part that is not getting any airtime. And while balance doesn't exist in the world, I don't really fully believe that there is such a thing as balance, because balance to you is not the balance to me, is not the balance to the other person. Like they all look different to each one of us. When one part of us that is so core to us is suppressed and very sad, it's going to be very hard to align for you with your purpose, because you're going to be aligning from your purpose from the other part that likes to study and wants to be serious. And your purpose lies on the intersection of these two parts, the playful child and the serious student, or, you know, mentor, or whatever we want to call this other part, the serious part. If one of them gets to choose your purpose, you're going to drive yourself into a wall eventually. Not right away, and you're going to not know that it is a wall, but eventually you'll hit and you'll be like, I'm unhappy actually, because this other part of you is going to become louder and louder and louder and louder. Because you came with a lot of beautiful, non-serious, playful energy. Literally, it's just like, let's do whatever today. Like, and like, what does this part want to do? Like, I'm just tapping into, it's feminine. Your inner child that you're suppressing is feminine. She likes water. She like wants to like run around on the beach. I feel like she wants adventure. She wants to travel. Like, she does not really want books, to be honest. Or,
I'm traveling in 2 weeks.
oh, yay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And she likes streets and she likes spontaneous things, and she doesn't want to be serious all the time, and she definitely doesn't want to be respected, and she doesn't even want to help people. She just wants to have fun in a good way. And ironically, when you allow her to have fun, like when you give her airtime, like when you give her room in your body, when you allow her to come through and do what she wants to do, your life is going to start taking a whole other trajectory, and you're going to start getting a lot of clarity. How do you do that? How do you give airtime to your inner child, or a part of you that wants play, that is suppressed? And by the way, if you guys have aligned with this event, there's a part of you that is exactly the same way. There's a part of you that you have been bulldozing over, that all she wants to do or he wants to do is fun, play, and not be serious, and God forbid, be responsible. This part does not want that, right? So just understand that this is how this applies to you. How do you get this part of you airtime? First, you kind of identify where they live in your body, because there's usually a spot. Like if you close your eyes, like where does that part live? And where you're feeling sensations, that's probably where they live. And then you drop into that area of your body. And then essentially that would enable you for a second to really connect with that part and become them, like almost like an embodiment practice. And then you take out a journal and you write down, what does my child want to do? Or what does this part want to do? And he or she will tell you exactly what she wants to do, what they like. Ask them what they like, what ignites them, what is fun for them. Because again, what's fun for me is not what's fun for you. Because this particular part has needs, and they have not been met, because you're all serious and responsible and adult. And there's no room for play in your life, because that's what kids do. And you've been denying that part a lot. And sometimes you would notice that what that part wants is something very simple, so simple. Like sometimes I just want candy, or sometimes I want, like, I don't know, like a teddy bear, or sometimes I just want to, I don't know, dress up for no reason, and like wear a costume. Like it could be anything really. And write down and commit. Once you've gotten to know them, commit to doing some of the things on that list. And you would notice that a lot of those things are very simple. And by you taking your time to do those very simple actions, you already are going to be giving that part of you airtime. And that part of you is going to be so much happier as a result. And when that part is not bulldozed over, you're going to know what your purpose is. But that purpose is not going to come through, it's a chore and it's serious. It's going to ignite you and delight you and do all the things. Sometimes in the morning, I ask myself, what does my little girl want to do today? And then I do what my girl wants to do. And that's fun. And so that is what's, and of course, but, just meeting them in meditation And then not connecting that to the physical action doesn't really fully give them airtime. Like you're going to have to follow through on what they tell you. And you would be surprised how little it takes to keep them happy. Like you're not going to have to cater to them 24/7. Trust me. It's usually like something very silly and very simple and very fast, and it's not going to be a chore for you. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're so
Yes,
welcome.
I'm really grateful for all the information you gave. So thank you. Thank you big time.
You're so welcome, big time. Are there any other questions on abundance or manifestation or money? If so, could you keep your hand open? I feel like there is one more on that topic. If not, do you mind lowering your
Yes.
hand? Somebody really wants to come through. Sergey, you're in charge. You let me know who we're.
Who said yes?
Yes, me, Stacy.
Oh, Stacy, yeah, go ahead then. It meant to be
Hey,
then.
thank you. Yes, I resonated a lot with what you're saying today. I've been on the metaphysical journey for decades now, and I came in with lots of karma, family karma specifically. And what you said about the mother, I really have a lot of judgment from my mother. In fact, I took 5 years off from both my parents, complete no contact, and my father died, and I came back in and became very responsible, taking care of, the resources. And I've been getting Akashic record readings that my mother's going to die soon. And she is the in charge of my brother who has autism. So I'll be taking over my brother's care. And he's mostly nonverbal, but I've been getting messages that he's very connected to the universe, and my mission could be part of my mission. But I'm kind of torn, getting mixed messages as to whether I need to just let him go on his path, or if I need to take a more direct role with him.
What I'm getting is he's your key to abundance. So that probably means that you have a sacred contract to caretake of him. But whereas in the moment, it may feel from the get-go, it may sound like, wow, it's going to be a life of limitation. By you taking on that responsibility, what opens up for you is a whole new level of abundance. And it's almost like the things are going to start happening, maybe not right away. And that's not why you should do that either, right? Like you should do that if that's aligned with your heart, not because you're expecting some kind of financial gain out of that.
Right.
But it's like a heart-to-heart connection that you have with him. It's really special, and it's a big closing of the karmic loop for you between you and him. Like he did take care of you once, not in the same fashion, but in a similar-ish fashion. And so in the sense that you would be returning the favor in this lifetime, you're very much meant to do that for sure, 100%, as a part of giving back. But also know that, yeah, he's extremely connected, and he connects up to the angelic kingdom. And when such a level of connection happens, blessings are imminent. Like, they wouldn't really, you wouldn't have to wait long for blessings to come through. And it's like literally the universe just somehow providing or giving you the things, and you don't even know how. So that's on your, on your brother. But with your mom, do write the letter, at least, while she's here, and see what energy that moves for you. Because I'm definitely sensing that you may regret not talking to her down the road if you choose not to, right? Obviously, everything is a choice. But I know, I feel like if you just write the letter, and like because there's a lot of stuck emotions, and you have extremely legitimate reasons to be mad at her and be upset at her, like stuff happened. Let all of that on paper, let that out, stop bottling that in your vessel. And you may notice that once you complete that process, and by the way, your entire body may resist it. You'll be like, this is a BS exercise. I don't want to do it. I don't even want to think about it. I definitely don't want to write it. The more resistance, the better, as long as you reemerge on the other side having written the letter. You may notice that your perception of her changes. And you may notice that you don't have to push yourself, and you don't have to force yourself to do anything. Like it may be very natural for you to give her a call then, whatever comes through.
Well, maybe I should clarify. I have contact with her all the time now.
Oh, you
it's
do?
just that, yeah, I do.
It's just not heart to heart?
she's just not here. Like she's kind of out of her body. She can't really see me, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Because
So
yeah, I
that's
was
the frustration.
assuming there's no contact because I'm not seeing any heart to heart between you and her whatsoever. So
Yeah,
how do you guys communicate?
she's just very delusional. She's not here. It's quite frustrating. She's been that way my whole life, and this is kind of a legacy burden in my family. So her mother was raised in foster care, so there's kind of a no mother there for her and for me.
I see. Okay. But there is for you, right? That's the ironic part.
Well, she's physically there, but she's not emotionally or mentally really there.
Okay, I got it. Okay, got it. Thank you for that. So after you write that letter, that part still stands 100%. What I'm sensing is like what you need is closure. And it's very hard for you to get closure when you feel like she's not there and like you don't even know how to get that closure. And what is going to get closure for you? And this is what normally I wouldn't recommend that. Not that there's something wrong with it. It's just like this is not what comes through. But for you, the vision is very clear. I literally see you holding her hand, and from your heart to yours, telling her after you write the letter and once you actually arrive at understanding why she is the best mother for you. Because as a result of that letter, you would understand why she had to be the way that she was and is. And no, she could not have been any other way. And in fact, you picked her because she was and is the way that she is, right?
Sure.
That communication that your heart then is going to go into for you is going to be very healing. And essentially what I see you, like a version of what you're telling her is, Mom, I know why this had to happen the way that it happened. And I just love you. And I want you to know that you're the best mother for me. If I, were to ever relive this lifetime, I would not pick anyone else. You would still be my mom because you're the best mom I could possibly have ever asked for. So thank you for being my mom. And that is closure for you. That's all you need to say. That would represent closure for you. And whether that stirs a response or it does not, in her, it doesn't really matter. Because you've said what you came here to say. And that would make it complete.
There's two parts of me. My soul agrees with everything you're saying. And then there's an inner child that's like, but I didn't get the thing.
Absolutely agree. And that inner child needs to write the letter because we're not going to bulldoze over the inner child anymore. We've done enough of that in all of our lifetimes, right? The inner child needs airtime. And the only way the child can get airtime is through writing the letter, letting him write. Some people, when they're doing this exercise, they notice their handwriting changes. It looks like a kid is writing because sometimes the kid is literally writing it. Like it could look very out of whack. Letters can become this big, then this small. It's like really all over the place when kids like that write. And of course, like this inner child of you is not on board with those words yet. And we wouldn't expect him until he goes through the healing. And the way he goes through the healing is by writing the letter. And then everything would align because when you do say that, you would mean it. It's not lip service because lip service is not going to create closure for you. Right. That would be the opposite of what you need to do. But before that can happen, this inner child needs to be heard. This inner child needs to be acknowledged. Cool.
One last question.
Yeah.
Every new moon and full moon, I write my intentions and I take a picture of it and then I burn it to release it to the universe. And I wonder, by taking a picture of it, am I not fully releasing it? Because I want to take a picture of this thing that my inner child's going to write before I burn it. Is that still holding on to it too much?
Usually you use the fire to release things. If you want to keep something because when you release things to the universe, it's like, I want this, but then you release it to the universe, somebody else may get your wish. What I found to be better, a more effective practice is placing that inside of your heart. Almost like taking an energy picture of that desire and placing that inside of your heart. Because your heart then informs your emanation, informs your vibration. And your heart isn't going to emanate all of that into the world. And then you're going to become magnetic at the right level of frequency. You're going to be the right level of magnetic, if that makes sense.
And for the inner child letter, if I were to take a picture of it before I burn it, would that defeat the purpose?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you so
really
much.
Want to let that go. You're very welcome so much. All right, my guys. I know we're 20 minutes past. We're going to do a quick meditation to close, I think, based on all of the things. There's a lot that came through. Yeah, happy 222 if you're on the Eastern time zone. Please drop me in the comments how this was for you, because obviously I'm doing this for you. Was this helpful? How did you guys feel, during the entire thing? We're going to do the closing with the meditation, more so on what is coming for the group energetically, just so we can all get closure and so we can process. Thank you, and I receive. Thank you for all of your kind words. I'm going to be doing another one of these. Obviously, you guys remember, maybe you don't, on December 5th. So feel free to come. There's, every time there are different questions. If I didn't get back to you, please know that you're still a perfect snowflake. If you raised your hand and I didn't get a chance to answer your question, still know you're very much loved. And, maybe next time is your time. So I do hope that you join on December 5th. Two quick announcements before we go into the things. We're launching a meditation app, you guys. I think it's already live. Sergey is going to be able to tell me if it's searchable on Apple Store or not. It's only available in iOS. It's called One Mother. One as three words, three letters. So it's like not a numeral, but it's the letters O-N-E. And so if you love my meditations, if you love my healing spaces, do check it out. It has free stuff. It has premium stuff. It has like everything. And so it's, we worked for about a year on this baby. We put like our entire hearts into that project. And I really, if you do check it out, and if you feel called to write to me how you feel about it, if it looks good to you, if you love the meditations, just please know that it would make my day, because I do hope that people love it, they see it. But even if you don't love it, still send me a note and we're going to make it better. Somebody asked if it's coming out on Android. Not yet. We started with iOS, but eventually, not yet. It's a work in progress. Oh, it's in the App Store. Yay, Jody. Amazing. Name, please. One Mother. One Mother. It's called One Mother. Yes. Because we all share one mother, Mother Gaia is the one mother that we share, and the Divine Mother is the one mother that we share. And for me, that space that we created is kind of on the bridge between planet Earth and complete stratosphere and ether. And that's where the Divine Mother lives. And I see them as this infinity symbol meeting in the middle. And that's why I wanted to call it One Mother. Crazy story, bought the domain name for an ungodly amount of dollars before this was even a project. So this one is incredibly divinely guided. So you let me guys know what you think. Also, if you like it, please leave us the ratings, or like give us like a rating star in the App Store. So that's that. And then the last but not least, I'm going to be launching a course on abundance. If you feel called to dive in with me, that one is going to start in January. And right now it is on early bird. I have early bird pricing until December 20th. So essentially that course is going to be on abundance, money, and manifestation. And today we did everything in the flow. I'm actually going to bring a lot of structure into the course. So it's going to be a good dichotomy of masculine and feminine energies. There's going to be structure. There's actually a method to my madness of how I went from minimum wage job to running a big company. I don't think that it would serve you guys to tell you how big the company is. Just like, trust me on my word, it's a big company. Although everything is relative. And then I just wanted to put all of my learnings and all of my trials and tribulations, frankly, into this course, because I feel like it's part of my dharma to teach people abundance. These energies are so simple to me, but they haven't always been. I remember the struggle. I remember how hard it was to, hit those milestones. And I remember, I came from nothing, and I remember what it feels like to not have anything. I came into a lot of lineage trauma around money. My dad would always say, we've never been rich and might as well not try. So that's my dad. I really hope that you check it out. The course is called Thrive. Sergey, do you mind dropping it or maybe like pinning it in the chat, the link, so people can check it out? I actually don't know if that is even possible. But yeah, that starts on January 11th. And if you guys feel called to dive deeper with me, I'm going to be there. waiting and, waiting to create meaningful change in your life. So that's that. It's Thrive. It starts January 11th. All right. Oh, and Sergey, they're also putting asking for the link for meditation. I guess that they're asking for the. I don't know if we can send the link to the App Store.
Yeah, we can. I have one here.
Sarala is saying, just checking the app. Oh my God, it's so beautiful and amazing. Thank you. You guys don't like. I'm like a kid in the candy store. I really love that app so much. It's like, it's been a long time coming, and you saying that you love it, it's like means the world to me. All right. Thank you all. Let's do the meditation. Yeah, let's do the meditation. I invite you to this one. Maybe this is not going to be 30 minutes. I'm thinking, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, because we went overboard and now you guys are busy bees and you have a life to live outside of this. Somebody's asking, if you pay for Spotify subscription, does it carry over to the app? It does not. It does not. And
cancel your Spotify, cancel your YouTube, cancel your Apple podcast subscription, because everything is moving to the app now. Yeah, just maybe we're gonna support it for another week or two, but after that we're gonna cancel YouTube support and Spotify and move everything to the app.
Yeah. And the app has, it has all of the features that a Spotify would never allow us to have. It has paths, it has the ability for you to, and down the road, we're going to be adding so many more features too. Like you'll be able to save things for later, do wish lists, do all kinds of fun things. So the app is also searchable. Like it's very easy to search by topic. So it's just more usable anyway. All right. Cool. Any other questions? Are we ready to roll on the? People are saying Android, please. We hear you guys. Android is next on our list. We'll make it happen. Will there be a replay? Yes. We're recording, right, Sergey? Sergey is in charge of technology, obviously.
Yeah, we'll send it either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, Android, it's like a whole other cycle of development. Like you need a whole other, it's not like just converting it and putting it on a different platform. You have to code it in a different language, from what I understand. So that one, even if we started today, I think is probably 6 months away at best. So apologies, baby steps before we can fly. Please keep Spotify. Sorry, people are asking to keep Spotify.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because if people cannot access it on Android, so again, remove it from everywhere, then that's not fair. Anyway, thank you for that input, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Most likely, most likely we're killing the YouTube subscription. It's just it takes a while to maintain. It takes a lot of energy to maintain all of these platforms elsewhere. That's why we wanted to aggregate meditations all in one place, just to make it simple. And that way I can just focus on that one meditation community, because I would love to focus also on the needs of that community in one place, because I'm channeling, right? Like every meditation comes from spirit. And when I can focus on one group, it's easier to be like the YouTube community wants one thing, but the Spotify people want the other thing, and the Apple people want the third thing. And then it's really a cacophony. So which meditation am I making right now? So it's a little bit like that. And then also for, app subscribers, we're going to have all kinds of freebies and cool stuff that we're not able to offer through Spotify or any other third-party platform, just because they're not built for that. Yeah. No, I don't know that I'm reading the questions correctly. It's not somebody saying, are you removing everything on YouTube? No, I'm obviously going to keep all of my videos for you guys. Why would I remove that? Yeah. Thank you guys for all your kind words on the app. You're the sweetest. You're the sweetest. Cool. I feel like I'm going to get lost in reading your comments forever, and I need to get going on the activation here. I will ask you to close your eyes. And what wants to come through right now is the acceptance of feminine energies, and just a little light language to clear the space of receiving for all of us. So that light language is going to be an activation that would remove any blockages so that you could receive what is already meant for you. Because remember, abundance is your birthright. It is something that you deserve by the virtue of you being a son or a daughter of Source. And I ask you to take a few deep breaths for me. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And I invite you to focus on your heart. You may even place your hands on your heart if that feels better. And just take a few deep breaths into your heart space. And imagine your heart expanding and growing and becoming a beautiful emerald rose. This emerald rose is your own inner seat of abundance. This is your own inner seat of those energies of having more than enough, of having plenty, of having anything you want, anything you need. Those energies you can generate yourself. There is no shortage of them in the universe. And there's no shortage of your capacity to receive those energies, as well as to generate them and to emanate them. And I want you to notice how this beautiful emerald water is starting to drip from the petals of this rose. I want you to notice how this engine within your own body of generation and generating abundance is becoming jump-started. Like as if it was dormant before, and now it's starting to, like, it's as if something is starting to rotate and shift and change. And where none of the water, none of the emerald flow was present before, all of a sudden it's becoming generated just through this movement in your heart. There is this movement. And watch as this water is starting to flow down your body. And especially it wants to go down into your abdomen and filling up your belly. And the more that water fills up your belly, the more you realize you can just relax into this. That you have been fighting too hard. That you have been in your warrior stance for too long, trying to connect with this energy. Maybe you've been chasing, or maybe you've been seeking. But this energy has always been inside of you. You didn't need to chase, and you didn't have to seek. All you had to do was drop within and activate it. Activate this flow. And as it's streaming down your body, allow it to go down your legs as well. Aggregating in the thighs and in the knees. Almost swirling and twirling, creating this spiral-like motion around both your knees. And just flowing down, 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 through your shins and out through the soles of your feet and into the earth, enabling an exchange of abundance between you and Gaia. And so this energy is going straight into the very heart of our beautiful planet that also happens to be an emerald. And as your inner abundance meets the heart of Gaia, a large torrent of emerald flow is rising up from the emerald crystal, the emerald heart of Gaia. And it rises up and goes up, up, up until it reaches your heart space. And it goes back into your heart space, completing the loop of abundance. And so this energy starts accumulating in your heart, but also going down again, down that same loop, down that same spiral. And the energy is so plentiful that on top of running itself in a loop, it starts to feel your entire chest space goes into your arms, accumulates in your hands, in the palms specifically, so that everything you touch will become abundant, so that everything you do will become abundant or lead to abundance. And then allow that same energy to go up to your throat, rewiring whatever needs to be rewired in your neck, so your words become abundant. So you can speak your wealth, material and otherwise, into being. Inviting that energy in. Simply allowing it to do what it needs to do. Not putting up walls or borders or fences against it. Knowing that the energy of the mother is actually really safe for you, whether you know this or not. It is not an energy that could harm you in any way. And now allow this emerald stream to go up from your neck into your head and pour out from the top of your head like your crown area and wash over your body from the outside too. Washing your body from the outside. And as you stand, filled with the inner and the outer stream of this emerald flow, notice that there is a figure approaching you. And this figure is the feminine principle, the queen archetype, the goddess, the female source of God, all of femininity in one being, in one body. And she comes closer to you. Now, some of you may already feel safe in the moment. Others may not feel safe or good around this energy. Maybe you don't trust it. And so a natural thing for you would be to want to put up shields or somehow distance yourself from that energy. Some of you believe that you are not worthy to receive what is meant to receive or what you are meant to receive. But the mother is reminding you that you are always worthy, just as you are, just as you have come today. And she is asking you to let her in for a few moments for this activation, promising you that her energies are safe and you can trust her in this moment. And as she comes closer, she takes you by your hands and you take her. Pay attention to how her energy feels to you. How she feels to you. Get present to your own attitudes towards the feminine. The mother has an infinite flow of the things that you want at her disposal. And she is here to gift you your heart's desire. Whatever is the thing that you want to most have manifest, call into being. She has that energy. In fact, you may see that hovering in midair next to you, between the two of you. that thing, which is the representation of what you want. It could be an object. But as she's trying to give it to you, there is a little bit of resistance in your field. And so this thing simply cannot align with you because you have resistance to it. And in fact, if you did not have resistance, perhaps you'd already have the same. And so I invite you to repeat the following invocation after me so we could work through that resistance together. I allow myself to receive the gifts of the mother. As they come, without judgment and prejudice. Sometimes I think that I know better. Sometimes I am advising the universe on how to do its job. But it is also so draining to always have to be the one taking care of everything. And so I remove responsibility from myself to always have to do this alone. And I open the doorway to receive help. I allow myself to receive help. I choose to no longer tell the universe how to do its job. I surrender. I surrender, and it opens up so many pathways for me to receive. I surrender to how it will come. I surrender to what needs to happen for me to get it. To the lessons and to the blessings of my path. And I claim this principle of femininity as my own mother. And as such, I'm in agreement that I'm her child. And as her child, I am allowed to take from my mother that which she wants to give to me. And so it is. And notice how the borders and boundaries between you and the mother disappear, and how the object that she wants to have or to give you is floating into your aura and drops straight into your heart space, activating even more of that emerald stream. Give the room in your body to that object. Allow yourself to fully absorb it, to fully have it. With gratitude. And simply receive this light language without needing to overanalyze it, knowing that it can and will drop straight into your heart and activate you in the way that it's meant to. Owa, owa koya nuata, istiroya kuatoru tutu. Inchia kotua awa. Iniroya koturo. Ishmatakaya ruma awa. Iru kotutuya enta e. Kia chia. Ina uruku. Taramata kuya anu e. Estiamo akutu. Iranata uwa shia a. Aranata rei kinu ua. Eranata kaya unua. And just say, I receive in gratitude and in recognition of all things magical and nonlinear. I remove the mental barriers that are preventing me from receiving what I need and what I want. In this moment, I am all heart. I am perfect receptivity. I am a channel. And through that channel, all manner of abundance is coming to me. And I allow myself to increase my capacity to receive by 10 times right now. And you can picture how, if your capacity to receive was a sphere of light inside of you, just extend it really outside of your body, 10x it. I allow myself to increase my capacity to receive. It is effortless and it is easy. And I'm not putting boundaries on the energies of my mother. I'm in acceptance. I'm immaculate receptivity. And so it is. Koya mau turukochi. Intaraku tutu e. Maya karu tutu show. Rita con motu e. Ia matara. Ia matara. Ia matara kutu. Take a few deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, feel free to open your eyes and come back into our space. And with that, I also ask you, and you can do it with your eyes open. Remember when we were opening our circle, there was this beautiful green ocean. If that feels aligned, you may raise yourself up from that ocean as if you're floating up. And that would constitute the closing of this space. That way you don't have to carry the energy of the group with you. But know that it is all done in loving kindness and in your highest good. And the sacred space is for you also. To receive exactly what you're ready to receive. To reconnect with the divine, with the spirit, and with each other. Thank you all so much for being here. All the hearts are going. Thank you for all of the hearts. I thought that today was what you expected it to be. I hope that maybe today was more for some. I receive your gratitude. Thank you. It has been such a joy to host this for you. And I do sincerely hope that if the stars align, that you join us on December 5th also. Many blessings to you guys, and have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.